episode 53 of the Pins and Needles podcast. My name is Zoe. You can find me everywhere, Ravelry and Instagram, as Pins and Needles UK. Check down below for show notes, links, patterns, yarns, everything I talk about will be underneath, including timestamps, so if you want to skip around to different bits, you absolutely can. Thank you very much for joining me today. It's Saturday the 30th of November and it's classic Welsh autumn weather, which is just grey dustbin lid skies. So I'm glad I've got my studio light today. And today I'm not drinking tea. I'm going to tip it on the carpet. Can you see? Yes, I'm drinking Ribena Winter Spice. It's like hot blackcurrant drink, but mulled. So I don't know if you get it in the States, but if you are UK based and you see it in the supermarkets and you like hot squash, buy some. Unless you live in Cardiff, in which case don't buy it, it's all mine. Okay, it's been, I think, probably 3 weeks since the last time I podcast, so sorry about that. But it does mean I have a bit of a bumper episode. I've got quite a few things to get through. And also, don't feel like you have to watch the podcast from start to finish all in one go. Some people love to do that. Other people like shorter episodes. I know my last couple were only about half an hour. But just pause it if you need to and go and do something else. Don't feel like you have to flog through the whole thing. Also, I've had a haircut and I ran out of time to dry it. So I'm looking a little bit like I'm wearing a helmet. But at least it's clean. You're welcome. Okay, admin stuff. I've got my laptop down here with all my show notes on because, like I said, there is a lot to talk about. Okay, first of all, thank you very much to everybody who bought Cartref Yarn from our last update. It's been ages since we've managed to have any online, and we finally got all of the yarn up in our Etsy shop and we sold absolutely loads. So thank you ever so much. And lots of people have left us lovely reviews on Etsy as well. So we really appreciated that. And we got to send parcels off all over the world. I just sent another one the other day to a lady in Australia. Blimey, that's a long way, isn't it? To think of our wool going that far. Anyway, there is still some available in the Etsy shop and there's a link for that down below. And I also wanted to say thank you very much to everybody who has booked a place on the June Knit Tea retreat. That was a really nice day, watching all the bookings coming in, and a really nice mix of people that have been before and are coming back, and some new to us names as well. So thank you very much. If you've already got a place, do make sure you head over to the retreat Ravelry group. Jenny has been very industriously ear burning you all in so that you can join in the pre-retreat chats, get to know everybody. There's information in there about accommodation and make-alongs and marketplace stuff as that comes up. So that's really good. We do have some places still available for June. So if you are interested, there's a link down below where you can go through to the website, and fill in the form. So do come along, we have some spare spaces. And also I wanted to let you know that the dates for the Knit Tea retreat in October 2020 have been released. I'm going to have to make sure I get this right. 23rd to the 25th of October 2020. That's for the Cardiff retreat at Insole Court with all the workshops. So make sure you're signed up to the newsletter. Follow us. We are at the Knit Tea retreat on Instagram because we'll be releasing tutors soon. And we are really excited for our tutors next year. In terms of the make-along, the retreat make-along is open to absolutely everybody. So whether you're attending or not, you are very welcome to join us. That starts on the 1st of December and runs until the 12th of June. And basically it's a thinly veiled excuse to get everybody chatting and having a nice time. So officially the theme is Stratford on Avon because that's where we're holding it. So you can go nuts with that theme. It could be about the river, it could be about Shakespeare, it could be Tudor buildings inspired. Basically we will take the thinnest possible link because we really just want you to join in. There will be prizes awarded at different intervals because it is quite a long make-along. And any craft is welcome. Knitting, crochet, spinning, weaving. Again, just make something and join in. We're giving bonus points if you use yarn, fibre, patterns or other materials, either produced by me or by Jenny, who is Owl About Yarn, or patterns from tutors that we've had, products that you've bought from the marketplaces or the vendors. Seriously, just make it a tenuous link and we'll give you extra points. I think that's it for admin. So let's dive into finished objects. Oh, that's so good. First up, I think back in March of this year, Jenny and I were both busy designing patterns for Cartref Yarn for when we launched it in April at Wonderwall. And Jenny has been going great guns and has some lovely patterns designed for Cartref. They're available from her designer shop on Ravelry, and they're also up in the Etsy shop as well. Anyway, the point is, I too designed a pattern, and it has taken me this long to get it published. So I have now released the Ash Path Mitts. Can you see? I hope you can see. So this is a fingerless mitt pattern in Cartref Yarn DK in the colourway Glaw, which means coal. And it has a lovely ribbed palm, so super snug and really easy to size. Proper thumb gusset. And I've called these the Ash Path Mitts because my kids take the train to school. And when they get off the train, the far end, there's a bit of a walk and the path takes them along the ash path. So that's the inspiration for the colourway. And this cable up the middle, it starts in the cuff and goes all the way into the ribbing at the top, represents the ash path. And then this split diamond cable here represents the kids milling about, forming groups and drifting apart again on their walk to school. So there we have it, the Ash Path Mitts. So I released these a couple of weeks ago and they've sold really well. So thank you again to anyone that bought this pattern. I have to say, I'm going to have to knit myself another pair of these because I keep these nice for the stand and I want a pair for myself. They take less than 50 grams, just less than 50 grams of DK yarn. So if you had a skein of Cartref, you could get 2 pairs out of 1 skein. And they're a really quick gift knit. So if you're looking for Christmas presents, they're a really good choice. And again, because the palms are ribbed, you don't need to worry too much about sizing. The pattern comes in 2 sizes. There's a medium and a large. So medium will be fine for most women, unless you have particularly large hands. And the large will be great for chaps. So there we go, Ash Path Mitts. The email's already gone out now, but whenever I release a pattern, I email my newsletter subscribers in advance with a 10% discount code. So that you've already missed that one, I'm afraid. But if you're interested in future releases, sign up down below and you'll get the code next time. My next finished item is a dishcloth. I actually knitted 2 of these, but I've only got 1 to show you. And this is the Nubbly Rose dishcloth by Aunt Susan. And I knit this in King Cole Cottonsoft DK. In colourway 715 Mint. So if you remember the last time I showed you the Crazy 8s dishcloths, the round ones, and I had sort of half a ball left over. So I've actually made 2 of these. One has been in heavy rotation, and then there's this one. And I have to say, I've really enjoyed using them. The first one I knit exactly to the pattern. But for some, you can see it's a knit and purl texture. That's why it's got Nubbly Rose. And for some reason, the pattern has you knit across the front, across the right side, and do the knits and purls on the back, which is odd to me because it's hard to see them on the back and much easier to see them if you do the knit and purl on the front. So that's what I did. I switched doing the patterning from the wrong side to the right side, and it's much easier. Yeah, so I've got a nice selection of dishcloths now, and I do have some more cotton in my stash, but it's undyed cream cotton, so I might make some more. But I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 hand knit dishcloths now, so it's quite nice. I can just use one for the day and sling it in the machine and then have a fresh one. Oh, okay, last time, I promise, last time I will show you these bleeding socks. Ugh. I have finally finished Dave's Christmas socks. Look how big his feet are. This leg is 6.5 inches, and look how much bigger the feet are. Absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, this is just a pattern out of my brain. It's a 3x1 rib, top down, heel flap and gusset, rounded toe, and I knit it out of some Opal that I bought from Angela of Yarn and Yarns, and it's colourway 2085. You can tell how old the yarn is. It's got a previous designed label. So yeah, pair of socks for Dave. So I can wrap those up now and put them in the Christmas box. Hurrah! Oh, I've got one more thing to show you, but I left it in the kitchen. I'll be back now in a minute. Whew, made it. And I just realised that I said now in a minute, which is a fabulous Welsh saying, now in a minute, which means I'll do it right now, but not right now. I'll do it now in a minute. It's perfect. Also perfect if you have toddlers. Anyway, my next finished object are these. In an effort to reduce my single-use everything in the household, the last time we ran out of kitchen towels, like kitchen paper, I decided I would make myself some unpaper towels. And I had a load of old hand towels, just cotton hand towels that we don't really use. So I decided to cut them up and make myself reusable kitchen towels. So all I did was lay them out flat and cut out roughly 11-inch squares of fabric. And then I zoomed them through my overlocker. Oh, sorry, I just knocked my mic off the computer. Oh. So I got it? Yeah, sorry. So yeah, I zoomed them through the overlocker. Where I still had the original bound edge of the towel, I didn't bother. And I had some red ones and some grey ones and some sort of lavender coloured ones. A few are in the wash already. And then I needed a basket to put them in. And I didn't have anything I could repurpose, so I had to buy something. And it was really hard to find something that wasn't plastic. I didn't want wicker or anything absorbent because it lives in the kitchen and I want to be able to wipe it down. And in the end, I found this wire basket. It is plastic coated, but I tried. And yeah, that just sits in my kitchen and you can just grab one whenever you need it and sling it in the machine. So that's been working really well. There's no tutorial or anything I followed. I literally measured out 11 inches square, ran it through the machine, and I didn't really care how tidy it was. As you can see, I didn't match the thread colours to the towels. I just chucked them through the machine and got on with using them, and they've been really useful. So that's great. And then my last 2 finished objects are going to have to be talked about by past me, so I will insert that here now. I just wanted to record a quick extra insert bit to show you a couple of pairs of finished fingerless mitts that I've made. My eldest son Conrad has some, well, I made all my kids fingerless mitts, but Conrad, my eldest, his friends were pretty jealous of his the other night on bonfire night and asked if I could make some for them. They did offer to pay, but I said no, it's fine. So I wanted to show you these before I sent them off with Conrad to school tomorrow. So here we are. So this first pair, oh, this is going to be terrible light. There you are, there's the colour. Plain stocking stitch fingerless mitts, 1x1 rib, and I knit these out of Drops Merino Extra Fine in colour 03. And this is a pattern called Handsies by Hanson, who is Knitspot, if you know the name. And Handsies is a fabulous pattern for kids up to 14 years age, so littles all the way up to mid-teens. And you can knit them in plain stocking stitch like I did, but she also includes 4 charts that you can put in on the back of the hand. There's a lacy one, a cabley one, a ribbed one, and a knits and pearls one, I think. Really well written pattern, and I made the largest size, and I had that much left over out of a 50-gram ball of DK weight, so I was really pleased with that. Again, it's a ball of yarn that I picked up from the bring and take table at the last Knit Tea retreat, so thank you very much whoever donated that. There will be one warm teenager due to your generosity. And then I made another pair, again just plain stocking stitch, different pattern though. These are a more purpley grey, that's fairly accurate actually. And this is the Cosy thermal mitts pattern. Can't remember who it's by, but it'll be down in the show notes. And again, these are supposed to have a knit and purl, like a thermal rib on the back, but again I just wanted to make them plain, knock them out fast as possible. And I knit these out of some deep stash yarn. This is Bergere de France Berlaine in the colourway 2364 Violine. There you are. My French pronunciation is not fabulous. And yeah, this yarn has been in my stash for almost as long as I've been a knitter. I picked it up from the bargain basket from Big Knitters, which was donkeys years ago my local yarn shop, long since closed down, unfortunately. The lady that ran it, Anna, was lovely. And again, I knit that pair out of just under 150-gram skein of yarn. So there we go. Not terribly exciting knitting, but I tell you what, I cracked these out in less than 24 hours. Same for these. So if you are looking for mitts patterns, Handsies for kids and teens by Knitspot and Hanson, and Cosy Thermal Mitts by whoever the designer is that I will link down below. So yeah, really nice to get a couple of finished pairs of mitts off the needle lickety split. And Comrade sent a picture of the half finished pair of these ones to his friend yesterday, who apparently is very excited. So Comrade can take those into school with him tomorrow. And then, yeah, and then his friends will have nice warm hands. The boys were really keen to be on the podcast, so this picture shows the blue ones I made Conrad and the other 2 pairs. And there's his friends with nice warm hands in school. Thanks, boys. Right, works in progress. I've been working a little bit on my Boxy, which is a pattern by Joji Locatelli. I've shown you this before, and I won't bore you with it because I've just got to knit 16 inches of stocking stitch. But I have made a bit of progress, so I thought I'd dig it out and show you. I'm using Owl About Yarn Tweed Owl, which I don't think she's going to be stocking anymore, but it is lovely yarn. It's merino and the neps are nylon, and I'm alternating skeins, and I'm using the helical knitting technique, and Grace of Babel's Travelling Yarns has a really good tutorial on that. If I'll remember, I'll link it down below, but if not, if you just search Grace Babel's Travelling Yarns helical knitting, it'll come up. It's a really nice tutorial. So that's how far I've got. I think I've got to about 8 inches now. The bottom rib is flicking up a bit. And Jeanette, I know you're knitting one of these and yours is doing the same. The pattern called for only 4 rows of rib at the bottom, and I doubled it and did 8, and it's still flipping up a bit. I'm hoping that blocking will sort it out. But yeah, that's how it's looking so far. I'm loving it. And because it's such a simple knit, I am trying to take the opportunity to teach myself how to knit continental. When I knit, I'm a I'm a thrower, and I hold the yarn in my right hand just loosely in my fingers. I don't wrap the yarn around it at all. And I hold the knitting needle like a pencil. And as I knit, I just, can you see? I don't know if you can see. I just flick like that. But I've been having some trouble with my hands recently. I'm waiting to go for some blood tests and an x-ray. But I've been getting really painful swollen joints in my fingers. And at first I wasn't sure what it was, and I wondered if it might be repetitive strain or something like that. So I decided that I would try and teach myself to knit continental, just to give my hands a bit of a break. And I thought, well, that's the perfect project to learn on, because gauge is not really a thing. It's not important. Or at least not until I get to the sleeves, and I've got a good 8 inches to work out if my tension will have changed. So I'm enjoying plodding along on that. It's just such lovely yarn, and with visiting families and things for Christmas, it's going to be the perfect project for that. It's living in my lovely project bag by Nellie Welly, and she sent this to me as a gift, gosh, for I think possibly my very first ever knit along on the podcast. And she sent a bag for a prize and sent me this one, and I just thought it went rather nicely with the yarn because it has purple roses on it, so thank you for that. My only other work in process is my dad's Christmas sock. My dad has even bigger feet than my husband, which is rather unfortunate. And my dad loves cars. He used to work as an engineer for the BBC in the transmissions side of things, but he's always been really interested in cars. And my mum and dad live in the Midlands, and in Coventry in the Midlands in the UK is the National Motor Museum. And since he retired a few years ago, he's been volunteering at the museum. So he does tours and works with groups of school children and things like that, which he really enjoys. And they have to have a bit of a uniform, just sort of a polo shirt or a jacket with their name badge on, and they have to look fairly smart. So he loves hand knit socks, and I tend to knit him stocking stitch ones in fairly jazzy yarns. And he asked for his Christmas socks this year if they could be a bit plainer, just so that they can go with his smart uniform and he can wear them to volunteer and to keep his feet warm, because the museum is it's big and all of the cars are in these massive hangars, so I think it does get quite cold. Anyway, so I cast on the Porthos socks by Caoua Coffee, C-A-O-U-A. I don't know how you pronounce that. She has a series of patterns, each named after the Three Musketeers and then obviously D'Artagnan. So this is Porthos, and it's in Regia in colourway 00522. And thanks to the glories of my light, hopefully you can see the pattern. It's sort of an undulating rib with a garter bit in the middle. There you are, look. And I'm knitting these on 2.25 Chow Goose. I'm considering swapping to double points. The magic loop, there's a bit more manipulation involved, and again with my sore hands I'm struggling a bit, so I might swap, but I don't know if it'll alter the tension or not. Having tension issues, generally I'm concerned. Anyway, the point is, they're lovely socks and Dad will be thrilled with them regardless. I don't think I'm going to get them finished in time for Christmas, unfortunately, but I've given him a heads up about that, and I'll just do the best I can. I've got one more repeat, and then I get to the heel flap, and yeah, it's a really nice pattern to knit. I haven't got it memorised, I just need to have the chart next to me and I can just take a quick peek and then I'm off the rest of the round. But it is a free pattern, so it's a really nice one, and it's an 80 stitch. She only has one size, and it's an 80 stitch sock. So if you want a larger stitch count sock, it's a really nice one to knit. And I'm using that's blowing out a little bit, but this is my Progress Keeper, and that's by Chapel View Crafts, and it's a little party ring biscuit, which I love. So those are my dad's socks. I can manage maybe knitting long enough to do one repeat at a time before I get a bit stiff. So that's why they're going to be a bit late. Sorry about that, Dad, but I'm doing my best. I do have plans for casting stuff on, but I will deal with that during Vlogmas because I'm going to be trying to do Vlogmas again this year. I enjoyed it last year, and apparently you did too, so I will do my best. I'm not sure if I'll manage every single day. December is busy, but I would like to give it a bash. So when I cast on, there won't be any normal podcast episodes in December. It will just be Vlogmas. And I will try and keep the videos fairly short, but there will be crafting content in them. So hopefully I can have some new cast-ons and you can watch along there. Okay, next up is acquisitions. I was contacted by Knit Crate. Now I've heard of Knit Crate. I've seen other podcasters be involved with them. And I was really excited to get an email asking if I would like to become part of their ambassador program. And I said, yes, please, that would be lovely. So the long and short of it is, Knit Crate will be sending me one of their monthly subscription crates for free every month, for which I will do a review of it on my podcast and I will share it obviously on my social media as well. So I am getting the products for free in return for some advertising for them, basically. But I will give you my honest opinion every single time. And as an ambassador, I can provide you with a link to their website to purchase their crates. It is an affiliate link. I want to make that absolutely crystal clear. If you use my link to sign up to the monthly subscription, I get, I wrote it down so I can be completely transparent. If you sign up through my link, which is in the box down below, I get a 20% referral fee, I suppose you'd call it, on your first month, and you get 20% discount on your first month. And then for subsequent months, I get 2% every month afterwards, as long as you stay subscribed. So full transparency. So you can find out more about them at knitcrate.com, and as I said, my affiliate link is down there, but I will give you my honest opinion. And I must confess, I was very excited, and I was like, oh, you think I'm worth sending free stuff to? That's really exciting. Anyway, so this is what arrived. This is the October box. It's very shiny. Unfortunately, I'm a little late in ordering it, in talking about it, but I've done my best. So it comes in this really nice cardboard box, so I'm glad there isn't plastic in the packaging. And this is what I get inside. Oh, yeah, so they're on Ravelry and Instagram and Facebook. So first of all, I got some tea. Ahmad Tea of London. I've not heard of them, but then I don't live in London. And I got this little fold-out thing with some fruity tea bags in, which I'm absolutely not going to drink, because if you know anything about me, I don't do fancy tea. But my daughter does, so she can have peach and passion fruit, strawberry sensation, and mango magic, all black tea. So there's tea. And then there's the yarn itself, and it came with this slightly sparkly tissue paper, which I think is lovely. And I got 2 skeins. Now Knit Crate has their yarns produced exclusively for them, so it's their own brand. It's called Knitology by Knit Crate. There you go. And this is their glowing worsted in the colourway C. It's, 40% superwash merino, 30% silk, 30% alpaca. Oh, and it's gorgeous. It's worsted weight, 150 yards, 137 metres to 100 grams. And it is just, it's so soft. It's so soft. I absolutely love the colour. And to get 2 skeins. They do a couple of different box options. So they've sent me the Knit Crate box, but you can also get a socks box, sock crate. There we go. So when you go through to the website, you can pick which one you want, and you can also pick sort of colour inspiration, so you get a bit of say about what palette of yarns you get sent. But yes, this is absolutely glorious. I love the colour very much, and it is so soft. And with the silk, it has a really nice shine and it will drape really nicely. I haven't made any decisions about what I'm going to do with this. My mum loves blue. Mum, do you want something out of this? I can make you something out of this. But yes, so just to make it clear, they'll be sending me a box of goodies every month. I'm sure I'll keep some, but I will be putting some back into the podcast pot for giveaways and make-alongs. I'm sure some of the boxes will be appearing as prizes on the retreat make-alongs. So there's another good reason to go and join us in that thread. And yeah, if you click the link, it is an affiliate link. I will get some money. I do want to be clear about that. But it's gorgeous yarn. It's gorgeous yarn. And I love the idea. I don't know about you, but do you find you buy the same sort of stuff? Like if you go to a yarn show or your local yarn shop, if I go to a yarn shop, you can guarantee I'm going to buy Opal because I love Opal. And if I go to a yarn show, which is where I buy most of my yarn these days, I tend to veer towards particular colours and bases, and I might shift slowly over time, but my stash can end up looking a little predictable. So I really like the idea that you get sent yarn and that's the yarn that you have, and it might force you to go outside your colour zone preferences or different bases that you might not otherwise have gone for. So Knit Crate yarn. And as well as the yarn, they send you a pattern pamphlet, and it has the different boxes that month. So this is the one that I got down here, and then there's the sock box up at the top. Beneath the Waves was the inspiration for this one. And it tells you all about the yarns, and then it gives you patterns for which to use your yarns. So obviously these would be the 2 sock patterns if you had the sock crate, and then I get a crochet cowl and a hat and mitts that I could use to make with the yarn that they sent me. And I think that's a really nice idea, actually. I don't know if I'll use those patterns, but it's nice to know that I could. Oh, one of the socks is crochet. That's a good idea. If you crochet socks. So yeah, so that's what you get. So pattern booklet, 2 skeins of yarn, and the tea. I don't know if you get tea every month. I'm not really sure. But anyway, Knit Crate. I think it's going to be fabulous. Oh, my next acquisition I'm very pleased with, although I haven't actually read it yet. Have you heard of Meg? Meg is Mrs. M's Curiosity Cabinet, and she is a lovely, lovely person and a friend of mine. She has a really good audio podcast, and she is on Instagram as, I wrote it down, Mrs. M Curiosity Cabinet, with an underscore between each word. And again, all the links are down below. And I've enjoyed listening to her podcast for as long as it's been around. It's really well worth a listen. And she has decided to produce pamphlets, and I bought her first pamphlet. And this is issue 1, Product, Process and Practice. And she's very interested in in all of those things, in the processes and the products, the finding out where materials have come from. She grows as much of her own food as she can in her little London garden. She's into natural dyeing. And yeah, this is a little booklet, and it says Essays on Materials, the Making Instinct and Kinder Living. And I'm desperate to sit down and read this. I haven't had the time yet. I'll just read you a little bit from the cover introduction. And she talks about kinder living on the front. And she said, the issues I explore in the context of making are often referred to as sustainability, but I prefer to avoid this term. Not only can it put people off, it usually involves a paragraph-long definition to explain what it means. I therefore prefer kinder living. Living in a way that is kinder to other people, from those in our communities to strangers working in industries that benefit us, as well as future generations. Kinder to animals with which we share this planet, but also actually kinder to ourselves. So this is a little collection of 5 essays. The first one is called Process and Flow. There's Materiality of Practice. Knitting is my yoga, unravelled. Lexicon of a Maker's Home. And then at the back, a recipe for easy sourdough bread. So it is pretty much all words. There is the odd black and white photograph in here, but they are essays. But I really enjoyed listening to her knitting podcast, and she sews as well. And I think it's lovely to be able to have a tangible thing with some deeper reflections on some of her thoughts. This cost me, I want to say £6. It might have been a smidge over, and it's available through her Etsy shop, and I've left links down below. So if you are interested in some of the deeper ideas behind the materials we use, how and why we make things, I would strongly recommend her podcast and grabbing a copy of her pamphlet as well. I'm looking forward to reading that. And then my last acquisition was a present, which was really kind. One of our friends, one of mine and Jenny's friends on the yarn show circuit is Lisa, who runs For the Love of Yarn. Really lovely lady, based out of Glasgow. And she has a lovely website, which I have linked down below. And she was doing a charity drive for Mind, which is a UK-based mental health charity. And I support Mind as well. I've got several charity shops near where I work, but when I have donations to make, I always take them to Mind. A lot of people close to me suffer with mental health issues, and as much as I love the NHS, mental health provision is considerably poorer off than physical health concerns in the NHS. So anyway, Jenny very kindly treated me to a bag, and I think £1 of this has been donated to Mind. Oh look, there's Lisa's website down the bottom. And also a pin. For the love of yarn. Is that what it says? No, Yarny for life. For the love of yarn is her business name. And that's a really lovely size one. It's got proper side gussets. It'd be really good for a project bag or taking around festivals. So there you go. That's the end of my acquisitions, I think. Yes, the pod basket is now empty. Also, the pod basket is squashed. When it was given to me, it was squashed, and I haven't been able to unsquash it. I need to poke that bottom bit down like that. Anyone, can I soak it? Does anyone know? Anyway, that's the end of my acquisitions. In fact, that's the end of the podcast, really. Just a few little reminders. I will be doing Vlogmas, so I hope you enjoy watching along with that. You can find links to everything down below, including my Ravelry designer shop. Don't forget to save the date, 23rd to the 25th of October 2020 for the Cardiff Knit Tea Retreat, and we do still have tickets for the June one if you're interested. Thank you very much for watching along, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.